I was always attracted to anything that was monstrous.
He has that urban legend, creature of the swamp kind of appeal. Swamp Thing is a big shambling mound of vegetation that basically is the swamp in human form.
It's actually one of the first comic characters I was actually aware of and became invested in on some level because the hero happened to be an alien or a monster, in this case a swamp monster, so I was immediately drawn into that.
I think Swamp Thing has been a character that has been somewhat neglected in the collectible market. So we were like, hey, let's do this. Let's base it on the old original designs that Stephen Bissette and Bertie Wrightson had done and put our own twist on it and really make an impactful piece for the collectors. The design could kind of get spun every which way, especially with the evolution of the character now. It's kind of taken on more of a human form. We wanted to do that Bigfoot, boggy creek creature that does exist in some of the movies and cinematically. So we had Paul take a stab at it.
In this case, I wanted to take what the artist Stephen Bissette and John Tottleman, what they'd done, and then what Tottleman had brought with his inks, which he'd rendered every single bit of moss and flower and vine that was growing out of the body, and I wanted to get as much as that as I could. We didn't want him aggressive, too aggressive. We just want him abiding in the swamp in a sense, but definitely with a sense of intensity and determination, kind of lurching forward.
Steve Rojas did the first version of Swamp Thing, and he did a great job establishing the overall look that we would go with. When you think about him, you think green, but there's also a lot of brown. We also did some heavy shadowing with some dark greens, like in the deep areas, which really helped bring the whole thing to life.
We got to play with it, and we figured Swamp Thing is an imposing character. He needs to be an imposing collectible. Cranius is Swamp Thing's arch nemesis, the villain in that world.
Obviously, he's the brains of the operation. He's actually a walking brain, and he walks on a large human hand.
And we thought, wow, what would be really cool is if we get Paul on it, let him design it, make it even creepier, and add, Paul's creepy aesthetic, and make that the exclusive.
I think the reason we choose to do these characters is because we can put our spin on it and also pay tribute to a character that has this, there's a culture of fans out there that love the character. We definitely brought to the table something spectacular for a character that doesn't get quite as much love as some of the larger, well-known characters. If you're a fan of Swamp Thing, you're going to want this statue.
As a fan, I'm excited that this piece finally came to fruition. I'm looking forward to having one on my shelf.